He couldn't move anymore. His leg was crushed, blood freezing on the snow. But when a long, familiar howl echoed through the storm, the old man understood they had come back. It happened one night in the mountains of Montana. Walter's pickup truck had skidded off an icy road and rolled down a ravine. Through the broken windshield, a dozen glowing eyes appeared in the darkness. People say wolves never forget the scent of blood, but that night, they remembered something else. Stay until the end, because the truth behind this moment will touch your heart. Walter Reed, 73, lived alone in a wooden cabin on the edge of the Montana forest. He was a retired firefighter, quiet, kind, and stubbornly independent. Since his wife passed away, he'd spoken to no one, only to the birds nesting on his porch and the deer wandering near his fence. Every evening he'd sit by the window, sipping cold tea, watching the forest breathe in silence. 3 winters ago, while gathering firewood near a frozen stream, he heard a faint whimper. Following the sound, Walter found a small gray creature trapped in a rusty snare. Its paw was bleeding, its body trembling from the cold. He knelt down, whispering softly, "Easy there, little one." He thought it was a lost puppy. He had no idea how wrong he was. Walter hesitated. In these woods, wild animals were no joke. One mistake, and you could become prey yourself. But when the tiny creature lifted its golden eyes toward him, something inside him broke. He sighed, took off his coat, and gently wrapped it around the animal. "All right, buddy, let's get you warm." And with that, he carried home what he believed to be someone's dog. Over the next few weeks, the puppy healed quickly, too quickly. Walter named him Ash for his smoky gray fur. Ash followed him everywhere, slept by the fireplace, and even wagged his tail when Walter hummed an old tune. But sometimes, at night, the little one would lift his head and let out a long, eerie howl that made Walter's heart stop. Then, one morning, Ash was gone. On the snow outside were paw prints, large, powerful, and unmistakably wolf. Walter stood silently on the porch, the cold wind biting his face. He finally understood, and yet he smiled. "Take care out there, Ash." 3 years passed. Walter grew older, slower, lonelier. Still, every winter, he placed a bowl of water outside his door out of habit or hope. And sometimes, on clear nights, a single howl echoed through the mountains. He would look up and whisper, "Still watching me, huh, old friend?" That winter, he drove down the mountain for medicine. The snow came earlier than expected. His truck hit a patch of ice, spun, and slammed into a tree. Pain shot through his leg. He couldn't move, couldn't reach his phone. The engine died. Silence fell. As darkness crept in, he whispered, "Guess this is how it ends." Then came the sound, distant at first, then closer. A howl, then another, then many. Shapes moved through the snow, large, fast, silent. Wolves. Walter's pulse quickened, his breath clouding the cold air. The lead wolf stepped forward. Under the moonlight, he saw it, a thin scar running down its right flank. The same scar Walter had stitched himself 3 years ago. "Ash," he breathed. The wolf lowered its head, bit gently into his sleeve, and began to pull. The pack moved together, dragging the old man from the wreck. Their strength, their rhythm, almost human in its purpose. When Walter opened his eyes, he was lying at his cabin's doorstep. A thick wool blanket covered him, the same one he used to wrap Ash in years ago. Around him, the snow was marked with paw prints, leading back into the forest. He struggled to sit up. And there, on a distant ridge, Ash stood watching, taller, stronger, wilder. The wolf let out one long, haunting howl before disappearing into the mist. That winter, villagers found strange tracks circling Walter's home, wolf prints, perfectly intact, as if guarding it. He never saw Ash again, but each time the wind carried a distant howl, he'd smile through tears. Sometimes, Kindness doesn't fade with time. It simply finds its way back in forms we never expect. Do you believe animals can remember love, even after years apart?